It is time for the Yankees to get on the phone with the Nationals. What's going on? So we're waiting. We're waiting. And I understand there's a lot of speculation right now with the Yankees and at the Marlins for Tanner Scott. And then it's talk about Jazz Chisholm. It's talk about relievers with the Reds. It's also talks about Garrett Crochet and a bunch of other people, right? But very, very quietly, are the Washington Nationals becoming sellers? Trade Hunter Harvey the other day to the Royals. The Royals were quiet, quietly smart. They got on the phone and pried one of the relievers away from the Nationals. There are a couple of other relievers that are available that the Yankees would be wise to call about and would not require a Tanner Hall package, a Garrett Crochet package. Don't get me wrong, would it be nice for the Yankees to get these guys? But sure. But there are teams like the Orioles who could easily leapfrog the Yankees in terms of what to pay for a package. They'd be much more willing to overpay. And again, teams like the Marlins, even the A's, they don't like paying their players. So what do they like? Cheap control prospects, right? Who do the Orioles have? A ton of them. They're a number one farm in baseball. So they'd line up more effectively for these teams, which is why some other guys right now would be good targets for the Yankees, and I hope they are. Okay. Even Ken Rosenthal was talking to Scott Braun and the boys from Foul Territory about this the other day. And it would be wise for the Yankees to call a couple of these guys. And again, I'll keep you updated on whatever happens and at the trade deadlines when it comes to the Yankees. And I will be live from like 12 to 7 on trade deadline day. And I will fill you in with everything that goes on. And that's when things get nuts, right? So if you're not subbed to this channel, hit that subscribe button right now. Hit all the notifications too. That way you'll know exactly when I go live and anytime the news comes out. But there are a couple guys that the Yankees should call about, okay? Dylan Floro and Kyle Finnegan. Now, Dylan Floro himself, he's 3-2 this year with a 2.11 ERA, for 47 innings pitched, 38 strikeouts, okay? And Kyle Finnegan is 2-4 with a 2.45 ERA, 41 innings pitched, and 42 strikeouts. And again, one of these things that these guys are good at, the Yankees' current bullpen is not, is FIP, or essentially making batters chase for stuff because they have good stuff. And with the exception of guys like Scott Frost, who wasn't even here yet, the Yankees bullpen hasn't really done a lot of getting players to chase pitches, right? Well, these two guys are known for that. So they will bring a dynamic to the bullpen that the Yankees do not have. Okay, and that's important. And again, Finnegan's he has a controllable contract, one more year after this year, until he's a free agent. Flores a free agent at the end of this year. So you'd have one now guy and one guy who's here for next year too. And again, we don't know yet if the objective is to complement Clay Holmes or replace Clay Holmes. But if you're going to replace Clay Holmes, let's not replace him with someone who's also going to be a free agent at the end of the year. We need guys with controllable years. And this is where other relievers come into play. So that's another part of the puzzle right at that point. And again, we already know that they're looking to move, acquire an infielder or two. They need to. But we also need, we know that they need to fortify the bullpen and potentially add somebody who could be a legitimate number 2 starter behind Garrett Cole, particularly in the playoffs. We thought Carlos Rodon would be that. He's not that yet. That's unfortunate, but it's true. But right now, these two guys would be wise. Yankees would be wise to call them. While everybody else is waiting on the Marlins and the White Sox and the A's for Mason Miller and some of these other guys, these Nationals are just quietly making moves. This is when it would be a good idea for Brian Cashman to get on the phone when no one else is paying attention. Call about these guys and add a piece or two to the bullpen while we're waiting for other things, right? And this is where you can become, you can really show your chops as a GM and say, damn, he added a couple of pieces when no one else was looking. Because that's what a lot of teams do to the Yankees when they're not looking, right? And this happens generally on deadline day, which sucks, which is why if you're going to be proactive, it makes sense to be proactive here. And the Nationals have already shown to be proactive with the Royals, right? So, and we know that these guys are available. So it makes sense to call this team that's being proactive right now. And Add a piece or two to a bullpen that's clearly showing chinks in the armor, right? Again, you let me know what you think about this. Those two guys, Dylan Fleur and Kyle Finnegan, will be good fits. They're both righties. They're both having 32 or 33 years old, so a little bit older, but they throw hard. They have good movement on their pitches. Okay, their ERA shows that, and they're not worn down. They haven't thrown 70 innings, 80 innings, or anything like that. They're they have good wear or workload on their arms, so they would be able to be productive in the second half of the season for the Yankees, which we would need them to be. Right? Yes, we have Clark Schmidt coming back. Yes, we have Scotty Frost coming back, but those two guys alone aren't enough for the Yankees bullpen and even the rotation to get over the top. The rotation has also shown chinks in the armor over the last month or so. When they were lighting the world on fire in the beginning, and then they started to go in the other direction. Okay, we're seeing better days now from Luis Hill, thankfully, and we're seeing Garrett Cole finally kind of become Garrett Cole that we know. It took him a few games. We knew it was going to happen. But we need, continued production from Nestor Cortez and Marcus Stroman and Clark Schmidt when he comes back. And obviously, Carlos Rodon, we need him to be Carlos Rodon. We need to be the Giants' Carlos Rodon, the guy that we signed for, right? Because he's not that right now. He was in the beginning of the season. He's not that right now. We need him to get back and refocus and become that guy that we need. Because I don't know if they're going to get somebody like Tarek Skubal, okay? And the fact of the matter is, it will cost. I said this last night. It would cost either Jason Dominguez or Spencer Jones, and then some beyond that. Okay, it wouldn't cost both because the number 10 prospect in all of baseball is a Tigers outfielder. He's rated above Dominguez and Spencer Jones, so it doesn't make sense to send them both. And I don't even know if the Tigers would want either one of these guys for Tarek Skubal. 10-3, was he 10-3 with a 2.45 ERA? He's had like a 2.5 ERA for the last 200 innings. It goes going back into last year too. So he is a legitimate ace from the lefty side. He's 27 years old, and he's got 2 more controllable years. That's the type of guy you give a lot for. We talked about other guys last night too. Isaac Paredes, third baseman the Yankees need. Okay, he also has 3 years of control left. Okay? He is in his first year of art, but he's a Super 2 player, so you get 4 years of art there. Okay, that's a Super 2. So he won't be a free agent until after 2027. That's the type of controllable years that we need. And since Ryan McMahon is likely not available, Isaac Paredes makes a lot of sense with his contact skills and his great defense. But he's also playing for a division rival in Rays. So number one, that cost is going to be even higher. And I don't really want to trade Dominguez or Jones to the Tampa Rays and have them punish us for the next decade. So if you can get him without that, it would be great. But if you look at the Rays prospects, and went over this last night too, they have 4 infielders in the top 60 in the Major League Top 100 prospects. 4 of them. So they can replace Paredes. They can replace Wander Franco in-house. They have no outfielders there and no pitchers in the top 100. Therefore, that's where the prospect package is going to have to be: outfielders and pitchers. Automatically, Dominguez or Jones, Chase Hampton probably will. You're just going to have to give up a lot for a guy like Paredes. And again, the 3 controllable years. He's young, and he's coming from a division rival. That's what it's going to cost. But this is why it would be a good idea for the Yankees to make these types of calls right now and fill up that bucket right now, so there's less to worry about on trade deadline day. And then say, okay, well, if we miss this guy, we got a couple of these relievers, or so on and so forth. If we miss this guy, we got a couple we got an infielder. It makes it more palatable and a little bit more tolerable for not only the Yankees but the Yankee fans, and say, okay, you didn't wait until trade deadline day and get skunked, which you've done before, right? There are opportunities right now to get guys because teams are willing to move them now before they get over. We already know somebody's going to overpay for Tanner Scott. Somebody's going to overpay for Garrett Crochet. Somebody's going to overpay for Mason Miller if he gets moved, right? We already know this is going to happen. Those are going to be probably dramatic overpays, okay? And again, like I said, those teams don't like, with the exception of the White Sox, those teams don't really like to pay their players. So you're going to have to overpay in prospects with controllable years. So this makes sense for the Yankees. Please call the Nationals. There are guys there that you could get here to make this bullpen better. Let me know what your thoughts are, gang. Load up the comments. Oh, and again, there's no baseball today. The baseball comes back tomorrow. So if anything comes out today, you will get it. I promise you. All right, have a good day, gang. Peace.